cook. And then, but before we eat lunch, we need to give food to our neighbors. We need to share food to our neighbors. And one time, I was so busy playing with other kids. My mom called me, Cherrie, you have an assignment to give this bowl of, food to our neighbor. And I said, oh, I don't want because I'm busy playing. Can they not eat without this food? They should be able to eat. Then my mom grabbed me, put me aside, and said, I don't want you to be successful. Success is beautiful, but I want you to be relevant and significant. And I want you to know the shortest distance in life, and you need to connect the shortest distance in life. My mom grabbed my hand. Imagine as a 6 years old, on the wall, grabbed my hand and let me measure the distance between my head and my heart using my hand. So I was doing that. And then my mom said, this is the shortest distance in life. There's the distance between your brain that, gives you knowledge, and the distance between your heart, but without your heart is not wisdom. Because knowledge can be shallow. Knowledge can be without intentionality. Knowledge sometimes can be harmful. But wisdom is something that is soulful, something that is from the heart, something that is so connected to the bosom of your creation as a human being. So that's my belief system. So when I've been to a lot of ventures in my life, a little bit of trivia. At 18, I'm a young scientist. Purple yam. It's like a climbing yam. So I helped clone or a tissue culture purple yam when I was 18 because it was my thesis. I helped with smallholder farmers, and then I finished making it as a thesis by tissue culture. It's like micropropagation of this yam from a cell. So I was 17 years old, stuck in a laboratory, producing plants from a cell of a plant. So I cannot get your cell and produce another new copy. So in a plant, there's a principle called totipotency, that a plant can produce another plant from a cell. Because a cell of a plant is a complete plant, but a cell of a human being is not a complete human. So I was so fascinated with that, and I stumbled upon purple yam farmers are suffering because when you plant purple yam, it takes 15 months to harvest, and traders are paying them very little amount of money, and it's just so difficult. And so I started doing that research, and it became my thesis. So it was published internationally. So it helped me travel all over the world to present scientific research and technology. And because of that research, it gave me a little of recognition that our president of the Philippines got me to be awarded in the palace and in front of a lot of people. And that time when I got an award, one of the billionaires in the Philippines, the #1 rich man in the Philippines, was there, and he'd hunted me, immediately had me right the moment I got out from the stage. And then I don't know him because I studied from the province, agriculture. I don't know who's this person in front of me. And he said, you work in my company tomorrow. You work in my company tomorrow. We'll provide you a car, a driver, housing in Metro Manila. And I said, oh, but I need to go back to Leyte. It's a province. I need to fly there, and it's like far. I said, no, we'll book everything. You go back immediately. You leave everything that you have. You start a life in Metro Manila. I want you to be a landscape supervisor and a horticulturist in the #1 real estate company in the Philippines, the largest and the richest real estate company. So at 20, I became the supervisor of one of the largest landscaping company in the country. I was handling 24 male architects. I was the only girl in the office. We're designing the most beautiful places that you can see now in Metro Manila. So my job is to help design landscapes, golf courses, choose plants, and now every time I go to these places, I could see big trees, huge trees, and it's a good reminder of reminiscing my 20 years old, designing all these most beautiful and very highly visited places in the country. So, but after that, I was doing a lot. I earned so much money from the real estate, and I said, I think why I'm planting ornamentals. These people cannot eat the leaves of these beautiful plants. And why am I making beautiful places for the rich people when 90% of my country is suffering and hungry, why I cannot go back to my agriculture, to my passion for food security and things like that. So I left the company, I resigned, and my boss was shocked because I was already earning so much money, and I become a vice president of a large company before I reached 30. The future is laid out in front of me because it's a chairman, the founder of the company, got me to be in the company. So there's no question when I'm promoted. So, and I have so much money in my bank account. I was taking care of my single mom, built her a house, bought her a car, you know, everything. And I feel like, oh, wow, this is how easy to make money. When I was studying, I need to sell Avon, everything, just to pay my tuition, to pay my cost of living, to pay my laboratory fees, to pay my everything, just to go to school. And to teach. I was a working student. I was a tutor of children of my professors. And then when I worked, I was like, oh gosh, it's easy to earn millions, you know, and my bank account has a lot of money, and I said that I need to do something good. So I resigned and I work in a large organization, a non-profit that builds houses for the poor. It's like a Habitat for Humanity, it's like that. But the founder got me, and then the founder said, oh, you helped me to build houses. I said, I don't believe in building houses because you need to teach a man how to fish and to give a man a fish. So I'm in agriculture. If you are open to work for food security, then I help build farms for you. So we built farms. The first year was, we built 50 model farms. One farm can feed 30 families in a village, and it grew to 600 in 2 years. And then after that, they closed it down because, you know, the funding was supposed to be for the housing, but donors are giving to the farms. So it deviates from the vision of the organization. So I applied for Fulbright scholarship in the US. I got in it. I was admitted to Cornell and UC Davis, two of my best Ivy League schools, dream schools. And before I flew 8 months, this founder asked me again. It's like, yeah, oh, we need to build bigger farms for ex-convicts and people who are living in mountains because, you know, they're against the government. They don't have money. They're the poorest of the poor. So I went. I helped build a farm again. And these people are really have nothing. They don't know how to read and write. Basically, some of them, they come from prison. So no one would hire them for work. And it's so hard to get a job when you have criminal records. So when I was with them, they have tattoos on their body. And then every time, like, why there are names of tattoos in your body? And these are names of male. You know, if you're a male, sometimes you put a tattoo of a woman. It's your lover, right? But them, I was teaching them how to farm at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I would see tattoos on their body. And I said, oh, these are the names of the persons we killed. Oh gosh. Because, you know, the moment you can tattoo the name of the person you killed in prison, you're a warrior. People were afraid of you. Because imagine, you can put the name and see yourself in the mirror every day that you killed with these people painted in your body. And during election, it's difficult because you're still hard to kill people. So when they go back to the farm, they buy rice and food for their children. And then I would sit down with them, where did you get your money? You know, and they're so open to me. I live with them. I sleep with their children in a very small house. We had no electricity, no water, everything. There are 30 families in that village. And a lot of my friends would say, Cherrie, why would you live there? It's the most dangerous place. I said, but they don't ask me. I sleep with them. I'm still alive. And, you know, it changes their lives. I help send their children to school. So 48 children in the village. And then I taught them how to farm because I asked them, if you killed last night and you use that money to buy food for children, do you feel okay? Right? And they said no, but we don't know. And they don't enroll their children in school. It's because they don't know how to read and write, basically. So they're afraid to enroll their children in school. So I said, like, okay, I'll meet the principal in the school nearby, and then I will enroll your children. I will do all the enrollment of your children, and then we will fix everything. So I live in that farm for 4 years. So to make the story short, I let go of my Fulbright scholarship.
You did what?
I did not go for my Fulbright. Yeah, because I feel like when I leave them, that we are starting to dream. What challenged me actually during the time is when I was asking the children, they're 10 years old, 11 years old, 8 years old. I was asking them, what's your dream in life? And then they said, oh, ate, they call me ate, it's like big sister. Ate, I want to be a maid or a boy. Ate, I want to be a driver in Makati because Makati is like beautiful. That's where I live now. Ate, I want to be a dancer in a noontime show, or ate, I want to be a dancer in Japan, or and I said, there's nothing wrong being a driver, being a maid, being a dancer, but there's something wrong without dreaming big. So I saw myself in these children. So the weekend, I put them in a bus. I bring them to places that I would pay a fine dining for them to just experience of this fine dining. How to use a spoon, a fork, and everything. How to behave. Because when you live in a very cruel environment, you act like animals. You forget the fact that you're a human being. And then I would, bring the kids to beautiful places I landscaped before, for them to see, to meet chefs, to see other professions, and then I would bring them back to the farm, teach them hygiene, everything, and then it changes their dreams. Like, ate, I want to be that man in a white uniform with a cup in the restaurant. Oh, that's a chef. Ate, I want to be that police, that one on the road that's like, oh, that's a policeman. Ate, I want to be that one in the clinic with a stethoscope. Oh, that's a doctor. So a lot of these children now are actually one in France, or one is a photographer in France. He did my photography last time when I was in France. He does photography for the big National Museum for Wildlife in France. Some are in the US, but but because of all the things that we were doing in this farm, it's so humbling, but it's also like asking me, of course, of my sustainability, because if I want to do good without nourishing myself, without making myself sustainable, I will not make it sustainable to do in the long term.
Exactly.
Because my life that time, I would do TV hosting. I was a TV host in the Philippines when I was younger. So you see me in the airport being swamped by people or mothers, because I was a TV show host. I was hosting TV show from 5:30 to 7 o'clock in the morning for mothers, parents, to see what are the programs of the government about health, agriculture, education, everything. And then I would go to the farm to teach these farmers. And then on a Thursday, I am an expat night party maker. So I create the biggest parties in the Philippines. I would create parties for 400 people in a night, launching whatever, wine or whatever, to big people. And that's how I'm very entrepreneurial in nature. So I said and then on a weekend, I still do landscaping. If I get 5 landscaping projects, I'm good in a year. I don't need to work. So I've always been very entrepreneurial, but I said that I need to do something that's just one, where I can do good and do well at the same time. Do good and do well at the same time. And it's a very difficult formula. It's a social enterprise formula. But at the same time, how do you make it economically viable, but and impactful, not only on people, social impact, but also environmental impact. So I always believe that if a lot of people would ask me, Cherrie, why are you so passionate in what you do? Why you don't get tired? Last week I was in my Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition meeting. It was an 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. meeting. This weekend I was in Tisumo and Vihiga and Homa Bay, going to places and far-flung places, to visit and meet people. I think, when everything that you do is so aligned there's no struggle inside.
Yeah.
And that struggle inside, that feeling of there's no struggle inside, fuels you to do more. Because everything is aligned. What you do, what you feel, how you act are all aligned. Sometimes if there's so much struggle because you're unhappy in what you do or whatever, you're exhausting yourself. You wake up, you don't want to wake up. You don't want to get up of bed, right? Because there's so much struggle inside. But I feel I'm so blessed, and it takes a lot of prayers and gratitude that God gave me a purpose since I was 11. After reading that book, I know what I want. So I had no problem of planning what I want, what I would become. I already know what I want. So that's another story. So after 4 years being with this a farm community, we built 26 social enterprises, and even the president of the Philippines came to launch our farm. World Economic Forum came to launch our farm, and even the UN did. So it was a really like beautiful farm, from ex-convicts to become like a farm of people. We partner with 60 universities in the world to come to our farm. From June to August, we have 300 interns coming all over France, Europe and everything. So, but after that, I said I need to do something more. You cannot contain me in a small box. I live in front of the ocean, so I'm a fish in that ocean. I'm not a fish in an aquarium. So, I started Agreas. So a lot of people would ask, what's Agreas? It's basically agriculture plus Gaia, Mother Earth. Gaia is a Greek word for Mother Earth. Gaia, Gaea. Yeah, A. So Gaia is Mother Earth. So how do I create like an agriculture business that respects Mother Earth? Because we have very limited resources. Our soil is depleted. The quality of the soil is depleted. Water is overly polluted. Our population is growing. So how can you do something that actually gives so much respect to nature, and at the same time giving so much respect to the love of my life, food security and nutrition? And for me, food is not food if it's not healthy. So everything is like, I really want to do something, and how I could help the farmers in the Philippines. So I started it in 2009, but legally 2010. So last June 19 was our 9th year in the company, and this company was, oh my gosh, very little. I started it on my own with 2 farmers, and these 2 farmers, they don't even know sometimes how to read and write. So I was really literally teaching them from basics. I was developing technologies with them from ground zero, and yeah, right now, as Eunice said, we're feeding 60,000 people daily. We're the local partner of Sodexo, the largest catering in the Philippines. So if you see all multinational companies, including your Facebook and whatever, so we feed all the employees in the Philippines daily. We're paid, we are paid to supply the needs to feed people. So we work with around 37,000 smallholder farmers currently. From the 2 farmers, they multiply to 37,000. Total of land cultivated is around 50,000 hectares or 110,000 acres. And then now I have a non-profit. 2 years after I started my company, I set up a non-profit because in the 2 years, I was contemplating how to make good money, how to make it sustainable, and how to also avail a lot of support to farmers. So that time, I was studying in Melbourne, in University of Melbourne, and they asked me to fix my company and how to make it profitable. And I realized that most of the income of my company goes to training farmers, because the farmers are the most humble human being, and a lot of them, they never have and a lot of them are in really depressed situation because they have very little education, they have no access to funding, they have no access to training, they're victims of an unscrupulous trading system, they're trapped in a financial institution that is so unfriendly for them, and they don't have access to market. So what happened to that is after my studies in Melbourne, I launched a farm school in the Philippines, and this farm school is accredited by our government, national, by the Department of Agriculture, and by the TVET. You know, you call it TVET here in Kenya. So basically, every farmer we train in our farm school, the government pays us when they pass the assessment. And then this assessment, we call it a national certification. All of this they can use to apply for work, and they immediately get minimum wage. They even use it to apply for work abroad. So the farm school basically that I design, personally, I develop all the curriculums from the farm school. I live in a farmer's house to understand how they live. To design a curriculum, I think, as you notice, I love studying. I'm not an idiot, I'm not a stupid person. But the most challenging, if you're knowledgeable, is how to make how to make complex and complicated so simple. Because sometimes, if you're so knowledgeable, you have so much knowledge in your head, you forget humility. So you forget how to explain it. You feel like you're knowledgeable. You explain it in a most jargon complex ways, right? And me, I learned to train myself how to make complex and complicated very simple, that a farmer who doesn't know how to read and write will understand what they're studying. So basically, the curriculum that we develop, it's not only teaching farmers the technology in farming, how to plant 1, 2, 3, how to prepare a plant, how to make organic fertilizer, but it's really teaching farmers to breathe, to step back, because if you're very, very poor, you're in subsistence. Whatever you cultivate, you eat. You cultivate, you eat. You cultivate, you eat. You have no time to just shut off your life, because if you shut off, you get hungry and your family will go hungry. So when you're in our farm school, we ask them to just relax, rest, and breathe. We teach the power of breathing. We teach them the power of prayer, the power of meditation, and gratefulness. So we teach that to our farmers, and it changes their perspective about poverty. Because for me, poverty is an illusion. The moment you have life, you are not poor.
That's true.
You know, for me, poverty is an illusion. The moment you have life, means God give you something and you're not poor. Right? Or else you'll be a speck in a Milky Way. You remain a dust in the Milky Way. So we changed their mindset on how to do something. So our farm school produced more than 3,000 graduates now. And we're opening several farm schools in the Philippines. And this farm school also gives birth to so many farm schools, because some of our students also open their own farm schools in their own communities, in their own provinces. And I hope to open a farm school in Kenya. That's a goal. You guys will be invited when we open one. It will be a party. And so it solved a lot of business issues, because you help the government achieve their training programs, but the farmers are learning so much. So in our farm school, even if you don't know how to read and write, you're accepted, because we design our curriculum, and even exams, that your exam you don't need to write. You know, for example, Lilian, make me an organic fertilizer out of, so you run around the classroom, you pick up all the ingredients, you weigh it, you have a time, 10 minutes, you make me like that. So, you know, it's so hands-on, you know, and that's how you get your national certification. So if you go to our farmers' places, that national certification is framed beautifully at the center living room of the house. You know, so that's my life. It's really revolving on ecology of dignity. The mantra of my company is ecology of dignity. How can you build a dignifying ecosystem for the producers and the consumers? That's the mantra of the company, and the mantra of our nonprofit, Agria Foundation. You can check them in their website, also on Facebook. We call it changing narratives of agriculture, because agriculture is always believed to be, as you mentioned, David, a while ago, is always believed to be for the poor, for the uneducated, for who have no options in life, for people who have no opportunities. So we're changing the narrative of making farming sexy. You know, that farming is not to be hungry. You know, farming is people, even the most educated, will go there. I always tell our farmers that I live in Makati, the Central Business District. Most of my friends who are in banking, who are in investments, who are in reaching already the toughest level of their career, their dream is always like, when I retire, I want to have a piece of land and a farm. And then I always tell the farmers, that's their dream when they retire. Now that this is what your life is, we just need to make it better with different mindsets. So that's in a nutshell what we do. So we work a lot with women economic empowerment. Our nonprofit has the largest women network in the country for women in agriculture. We work a lot, as mentioned, with smallholder farmers. We have youth programs. Hopefully, I can also bring our youth program and women programs in Kenya. Our youth programs is not only limited in the Philippines. We run youth programs in ASEAN. President Barack Obama was my first partner since 2015. He funded my first endeavor for the youth, teaching youth in war-zone places to become farmers, healing their trauma because they never been in school. They were abducted to fight. So when the war ended, we got them, put them in our farm, and trained them personal healing, leadership, community healing, community leadership, and business. So and then this program has been reaching 11 countries in Southeast Asia now through the embassy of the US, because it started with the support of President Obama. So when I met him, a lot of people would say, complaining about their problems. I told the President Obama, can we do project together? Can you support? This is my idea. And President, US Embassy, make it happen. We support that. So he believed in me in my first endeavor in 2015 for the youth. And we did it all over Southeast Asia right now. So that's what we do. And if you have questions, please feel free. I think I spoke long, but it takes long because it's a very different model for the business and very different model for the nonprofit. Thank you.
Awesome. I would like you to serve before they start asking you questions. Yeah. Yes. Let her serve. Felix, you haven't served. Western has not served. Yes. Stacy has not served. Please serve. As I know you're now thinking, I know you came here with some expectation. They have been expanded. Yeah? Or am I thinking for someone? No. They are more expanded than you thought. Yeah? Now you're thinking bigger than you thought. Yeah. And why I like her is, doing well as you do good. That is what we have to think about. Because, and doing it big. Not just doing well and do good in a small way. It's doing it in a big way. And why I wanted her to speak to many people, I would have loved her to speak to more people, is because of our mentality in Kenya. Of me, myself, and I, you want to do small things in a small way. So long as it is paying your bill, then you're good to go. And she doesn't think in that manner. She thinks sustainability, 20x. Whatever you think, I normally tell many of the people I speak to, whatever you're thinking, that amount you're thinking, Ebudu times 20. How does that feel like? Yeah, because whatever it is you're thinking, it can be times 20. And just imagine you dealing with that times 20 of that. It is not about you anymore. It's bigger than yourself. Yeah, so I think you can take questions as you eat. Yeah, I will write them for you. So just ask, I'll be writing so that she finishes it. Okay, go ahead. Eunice.
I'm so excited. I'm fasting.
Your friend now.
I am so impressed, and thank you for making it practical. possible, feasible, because sometimes we're in the strategic planning stage, or even before that, and you're thinking, how can we do big things? It's true, Eunice, sometimes we feel small, but thankfully, our name, means good victory, not just good victory. So I honestly have a lot of faith, and you see, me, I'm a Christian, I'm born again. If I go prophetic on you, just allow me. I believe we're in the season of God, where God is preparing all of us to become what exactly she has just modeled. And the model that she's talking about is a very interesting model. It's literally a sort of ecosystem. The truth of the matter is, my personal experience in the sector has taught me that you cannot do it a certain way. A lot of people have done it a certain way for a long time. But when I did my investigation in my master's, I investigated the impact of strategic alliances on business performance. And I came to find out that you need partners. You need to work with people. I had her talking about using the income she was getting to train farmers. You need non-financial partners, the commercial partners and the non-commercial partners. So a lot of times we don't realize the reason why we are not profitable is we have not aligned our company very well. And so you can't focus on profitability when you're spending your money on training. There's no profit from that. You probably get it in sales later, but there's no immediate profit. And because your business is a going concern, you have to make sure you're making money immediately. So I believe in the model that she's sharing. I really have a lot to request of you in terms of partnership, because Stella sits in my board, and we are building by the mercies of God one of the biggest factories in Africa for processing orange flesh sweet potato. And we talked about the purple. I'm like, oh my
Orange
God.
sweet,
We got a scientist. And I also believe that we're not meant to build boring things. I mean, honestly, let's make it sexy, let's make it attractive, So, like our factory, we are planning to have caves in it. Yes.
Why caves?
Okay, no, this is new for you.
Caves.
Caves.
Yes.
Like the training center, where the farmers go. So our project is going to be addressing 500,000 people in the long term, beginning with 2,000, but the projections in the next 10 years are 500,000. So you can imagine we need proper training facilities, encouraging facilities, not body. We are partnering with the universities as well. I honestly believe in the ecosystem. If there's one thing that I have, learned from her and affirmed from her, is it works, the ecosystem.
Oh yes, it does.
Did you guys hear her mention the university? Did you hear her mention farmers, NGO, like her company, her foundation? This is the ecosystem model. When you bring it together, it has the capacity to fast track your learning curve. I honestly believe in that. Because sometimes you want to make the money, then you use that money to train your farmers. And then to also do innovation.
Yeah.
So, but when you bring together the right partners and the right resources, you actually reduce your learning curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, so today I'm just here. I celebrate you. I cannot believe I'm hearing you.
Thank you.
I celebrate you.
Oh, thank you so much. I totally appreciate.
And the fact that you represent God.
Of course.
Yeah.
Light bulb
You're
moment
doing
there.
God's work. Yeah, you're doing God's work.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
I believe we have all come into the stage of life in time where we have to do God's work.
Oh yeah.
That's our ministry
Absolutely.
field,
Yeah.
and that's where we are called.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Let's hear more responses. Yes, David.
So I want to really concur with what you're saying. And maybe for me, I think the connection with whatever we do with God, because that brings purpose. And mine would be a problem perspective. Because I've lived in a place, I've seen people in trouble. I've seen a lot of my colleagues relocate to towns. I've seen them come and join, some of them become drug addicts. And you know, when you ask why, because our parents were farmers, right? That's how we grew up. That's how they paid our school fee. It's not an evil thing to do, right? So why come to urban centers? Then you expose